So Fred and I were just having a conversation about Shaq's pond. It was kind of boring. It was a little one-sided, if you know what I mean. But we thought maybe you guys have not seen the entirety of what Shaq's pond looks like and everything around it. So we thought maybe we should show you just a little bit more of what the surrounding area looks like, what the construction process was like, and I've even got an opportunity to talk with Ed about the entire construction process and what went into it. And so we're going to dive into that, especially some of the headaches about the construction of this new pond.
The list of headaches on this project, like any project of this scale, is very, very long.
Including how we're here.
I mean, starting out with a pond that didn't function. So it's always more difficult and expensive to come in after the fact to redo something.
Because now we're not carving out the way that it should have been in the first place. We're having to go behind
We had to rebuild
it. Yep.
We had
packing clay and
Correct.
things like that when it's wet is not a very fun process.
Not easy. They hauled a bunch of this soil all the way to the back of the property, so we had to put it back in trucks and bring it back.
To rebuild the shelves.
To rebuild shelves and make the peninsula, change the shape, to do all that stuff. Staging, we had to knock a section of the fence out. We had to bring all of our boulders. Thankfully, we had this big area for staging.
Right.
So that helped. So we had hundreds of pallets, literally pallets of material, as well as dump material up there. But just driving back and forth. Now, I loved working in the dry condition, but I hate working in dry condition because this soil, when it's pulverized,
complete powder.
Talcum powder. I mean, it just was blowing everywhere.
So now you have dust and
all over everything.
Mess.
Rerouting the drainage, getting stuck in the mud multiple times, getting the machine stuck in everything,
I mean, we talk about it as if it's like just kind of like a whatever thing, but in the moment,
it's massive issues. Going up to the quarry, hand picking all the stone in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and having that stuff palletized and brought all the way back. Bringing you and your team out to regrade and fix everything, to stabilize the soil and reroute all that groundwater into areas where it could be managed.
Yeah.
Juggling everything in between Shaq's schedule so we could surprise him with everything. Shell shock right now. Non-stop. When we were here, we were started on site we were here at 7:30 and we left at 9:30 every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
14-hour days. 3 years ago when we were here, there were some more trees in that area and there was like a drainage ditch channel going through that space, going from the driveway under the road to the adjacent property.
Where I see the culvert right now.
Exactly. And they said it flowed water 365 days a year. So he said there's an underground spring, something here.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is the perfect place for
perfect place for a pond. They decided to dig out a big hole and I told them, I'm like, don't just dig a big hole.
Did they listen to that?
They did not listen. They ended up digging everything out. They dug a big hole further towards the main road to try to find some good blue clay, that bluish gray,
to kind of line the bottom,
kind of line it.
But
there was grit in it still. Kenny contacted us and said, hey, I have a problem. You remember that pond we talked about? We ended up building it and it does not function. I'm like, okay.
Yep. And then I think, which is part of interesting is, you know, a lot of people come to us and say, hey, we want to put a pond right here because it's the low spot, water's always collecting here, this is going to work perfect. Then what we find, you know, you always tell people like, no, if water's collecting there, that means I can't keep the ecosystem pure.
Right.
It means I can't keep it uncontaminated.
Right.
Well, that's kind of what I feel like happened here, and we found that out the hard way because there weren't enough berms around this thing so that there was a massive storm and the whole thing filled in with clay from the whole area around it. So we had to do some berms and some stabilization around it, but it just goes to show that the lowest part of the property doesn't always mean
not the best.
It's supposed to be the pond. So can we go walk around
Absolutely,
this and
let's
tell me a
do
couple
it.
things about it? I see a long view right here, and
exactly.
Like this path is kind of lined up perfectly with it.
It is. So they put in this path before we arrived because it went to this big mud hole that was there.
Right.
But it just went down, and there was a ring of this gray rock going in a circle. The pond had very little shape. It was just a big oval. So you and I, when we look at a feature, we're trying to make it more interactive. It's not necessarily about the water volume. It's more about the interaction of the space.
Right.
So by having twists and turns and coves
It's
and
interesting.
beaches, it creates more visual interest. Because of the scale of the property, I'm always thinking from a functional standpoint, how am I going to recirculate the water? How
Right.
am I going to eliminate dead zones? How am I going to create a pumping system that's very efficient?
Right.
So over in this section, we created, oh, that might be Greg. No, that's Greg. No. Hey, what's up?
Greg's calling.
Hey buddy, I'm 21 minutes out.
Okay, so we have all of our pump vaults, all of our submersible pumps are in this little cove area.
Yep.
So it's gonna draw water in through this entire area. You can see there's some floating debris on the surface.
Yeah.
We have
It's
our
almost
power
like still
connections.
as it's coming in.
It is.
Which
So
is kind of cool.
It is, but you can see all the floating debris on the surface. So it's
Right.
actually doing its job. But what I wanted to do was try to have a very efficient system. So we're running 2 pipes right to this other cove on the opposite side. So we have this peninsula kind of cutting everything
Yeah.
in half. The other 2 pipes come in and it distributes water into our wetland filtration system.
Which is
the
coming
water
up
in
here
here
and going
is, so the water's coming up in here and the water is 10 to 12 inches deep in this area.
Okay.
We
How
loaded
deep is
it
it in
up.
the middle?
The 5.5 feet in the middle.
Okay.
So we have this shallow area, we did this little beach entry, we loaded it all up with different types of aquatic vegetation. So those pumps are running really, really efficiently. So
Yeah.
they're 4,000 to 7,000 pumps. We're pushing a lot of water, so we're getting good circulation.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm always thinking about is electrical cost. So the main waterfall does not have to run 24/7. So
Okay.
this system could operate by itself, and then you could put the main pumps on a timer, use one of the apps or something like that to create the additional oxygen for the pond. So what we did here was just build a small upper pond. The reason we did that was I knew we were gonna have to be building from that section out.
Right.
So for me to wait to do the wetland up on this hillside, it would have changed the whole flow of construction. So we put it down here from a visual perspective.
Right.
I like that shallow water area. It goes into the deep
And
section.
the plants are going to look awesome.
The plants are going to look phenomenal. But it was also from an installation standpoint as well.
Right. And so this is just really an upper pond up here. This isn't even.
Yeah, it's basically just an upper pond, correct. This will act as a sedimentation chamber.
Okay.
So we have all of our fast moving water dumping in behind these big boulders. The water kind of kicks up, swirls around, facilitates that sedimentation process. And as you can see right now, there's probably a ton of sediment inside of here.
There it
The water then cascades down those waterfalls, reoxygenates the water, continues the cycle.
Okay.
I mean, what I love about it
Yeah.
is every project is unique, but we could expand and contract the same concepts according to different
That's right.
project requirements.
So tell me a little bit about the technical specs. How long and wide is this?
So we are 110 feet from waterfall to the beach,
Okay.
not including the long beach going past the
not
liner.
including the beach, but
No,
to the
right
beach.
to the edge of the beach.
Okay.
We are 90 feet wide maximum from that cove to this one.
So that's pretty large. Okay, and our waterfall to the top of the waterfall, how long is that? roughly?
This is, that was a 40, I believe that was 40 feet.
Okay, and then we have maybe another, 15 up here?
15 foot, 12
Yeah.
by 15 upper pond.
Okay, how many
Yeah.
tons of boulders do we use?
500 tons total of stone. I
Wow.
didn't break out rock from gravel and everything.
Okay, so including like the cobble, the
And-
57 rounds,
Correct.
all that kind of stuff.
Correct.
That's all around it.
not
500.
including sand, not including the stone chips. That was just for the pond construction.
Okay.
So then we also have the crushed stone for the putting greens and things like that.
Right.
Totally
We're
separate.
not counting that into
No,
this.
not including that.
What's another cool technical fact about this feature?
About this feature, the liner was 130 by 110. It was one giant sheet of polypropylene.
Okay.
Weighed 5,000 pounds. So we had a small team of us installing that. Yeah.
5,000 pound
5,000
liner.
pound liner.
Significant.
We have a surplus of groundwater still coming into this.
Right.
We had to put in a subliner drainage system going underneath everything, and that's because of the natural groundwater issues.
And so the groundwater that's kind of coming out now, there's a French drain essentially underneath of that,
Correct.
and it's still coming up out of that culvert.
It flows
Because the problem
constant.
didn't go away.
No, we just rerouted it.
Right.
We just took it and pushed it over to there. We're
sense.
probably actually saturating some of the soil in here, which is fine, but majority of the water's going that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for
Yeah,
sharing
man.
these facts with me.
Hey, anytime.